You are watching a Two in a Blue interview, filmed as always from the Energy Defenders studio. For any of your solar and roofing needs, call Energy Defenders. We are here with farm manager of Atlantic Blueberry, former owner of Atlantic Blueberry, Billy Galletta. What's happening, man?
Not much. Just work.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming down, man.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah. Got your, brought some St. Joe swag for me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How's it go? How's recruiting going?
Not much recruiting. We just want to get the population of the school at a certain number. You know, they're bringing in 8th grade for the fall. We'll bring some more kids in. You know, and we're not aggressively going out. There's kids that want to come, though, and visit. A lot of kids are shadowing. But they got their pick. And we're not 100% set up and ready. Locker rooms being worked on. Weight rooms got to be rebuilt. You know, we got standard. I mean, you got good squat racks. I was in there this afternoon with the boys. You know, we got to get, you know, the strength there because we're young. We got a pretty good class. They're sophomores right now. We'll be real strong in 2 years. Next year, we should be pretty strong. Record-wise, ability-wise, the kids are getting good. You know, they're picking up a lot of things, a lot of new football players, kids that have never played. First year, second year playing kids.
So you guys are building program just organically.
Yeah.
You're not going out recruiting. That surprises me.
Their contact, and we have one coach that's real active in talking with kids. Coached a lot in the youth, like the Hawks for Pleasantville. You know, our D coached in Mays Landing for all those years. There's a lot of Mays Landing kids interested in coming. You know, they come and they shadow, but they'll come and look at our facility, excuse me, and it's not, you know, we're not walking into a huge weight room where, you know, we got weights everywhere, Smith machine, you know, we're just starting out. It's a total rebuild, you know, and the kids that are, like I told them, this class from last year, all the kids, from the seniors that we only had, I think 5 seniors in total. But that class 2 years ago, from freshman to senior, should be the first group of kids that just gets into the St. Joe Hall of Fame because they sacrificed. They all could have left. They knew they were going to get trounced. We'd show up at these schools and these kids getting off the bus, they weren't even sweating. They're dry. They look at this other team and they're like, we're in trouble. They never quit. We'd try and regroup in halftime, and these kids were whooped. Had to go both ways. By third quarter, they're all cramping. They're gassed. They're beat up. They're 14 years old. We had like one 17-year-old. They're young seniors, but they had heart, and they took the lumps. I mean, being an adult standing on the sidelines, you got love for these kids. You see them working as hard as they can. Their ability level, as a 14-year-old boy, that's their ability level. I don't care who you are. Most times, you have a 14-year-old, you're going up against an 18 to 17, 18-year-old that's got football background. You're in for a long day.
Yeah.
These kids didn't quit. Not any of them took their helmets off and said, I don't do this anymore. They went out there, 11, just fought. And I mean, when I saw trounced to where at you're standing there and you almost want to go out there and smash one of them other kids because you're watching a kid that you have tried to show everything to take to shed a block. You know, don't get caught up in it. Get into them, get rid of them. You know, and this kid's you're watching your kid you've been working with getting driven and then pancaked and ground into the grass. Yeah, it's going to happen. But when it's every single play and that kid is getting up and getting back in the huddle, like I told the school, and I told RD, bro, we have a Hall of Fame. I don't care what a Wildcat, Wall of Fame, whatever it is in the future we build, that's the first group of kids that we have to anoint into that because of what we watched. And we, every week, scrap that. We change the whole thing up again, change this kid to this position. We were throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this group, and kids were not comfortable in positions we were moving them to. It was a fish out of water. Like, I never played defensive end. You're only responsible for half of the field. Don't worry about that going across the other side of the field. Take care of your area, and that's it. Try to minimize the kid from getting clobbered. Can't get him out of middle linebacker. Move him over. This kid's taking a beating. So we're trying to protect these kids, plus teach them the game. But none of them quit. And the worst thing is the parents. And it's not bad to deal with the parents. It's you got to load these kids back up on the bus. And you got to look at these parents in the face. And they know their kids are getting their asses kicked. And you hate it. No one losing.
Well, what do the parents expect? You said like a lot of first-time players, 14-year-olds playing against 17-year-olds. You only have 5 seniors.
I don't think they have super high. They're not sitting there, we should be winning state championships. But you love the kid enough just as a coach to go out there and clothesline a kid because he's beating the crap out of a kid. You love the kid. So it's their kid. And you have the parents, it's just like, you have kids. Yeah. Mike, little Billy was always undersized, little guy, fast, tough, But when I see him get his head knocked off, you're almost like, man, I'd like to go out there. I'll show that kid, And the parents have to watch. They're watching game after game of this. We had maybe 2 games the first year that we were in. You watch 9 games of that. Any parent. You want to tell your kid, wrap it up. This year might not be the year for you to be on the football field.
That's great. A lot of coaches deal with my kid should be playing, and you guys are dealing with the take them out of the fucking game.
No,
what are you doing?
These parents are, they're all great. And you just feel for them because you don't want that for your players. You don't want the parents to go through that. Mm-hmm. You want to put a winning program together because these kids are working hard. And the parents, they're not all from Hamilton. There's some Egg Harbor Township kids coming. So these parents are tracking, getting to the double sessions, the camps, running them back and forth. It's not you could ride your bicycle over there when you're 14. It's a 40-minute drive for some of these parents. One boy's coming from Millville and had a great discussion with his mother. And this kid ain't never played football. I'll tell you what. Put him in a 3-point stance at fullback and you tell him you got to block Ray Lewis. He's going to block him. This kid will hit anyone. He is like smiling. You can't get the smile off his face. Loves it. Doesn't know the game. Has no football IQ. He's a lacrosse stud. Fast, physical, but he's not a football player yet. But he goes out there. All the kids do. And our record now last year was better. Could have won probably 4 other games. We're in 4 other games to where by the 3rd and 4th quarter, our kids are just gassed. Mm-hmm. You got 27 kids on your sidelines and you're looking across at 90 kids in Egg Harbor Township on their sidelines. You got 5 sets of fresh legs coming in. No matter if they're second-tier players, their tank is full. Our kid's on aim, man. Yeah. He's playing both ways, punt, kickoff, kick return. extra point, everything. They don't get off the field, and you can't, our second tier kids are all first year players that I don't want to say have no concept of the game at all, because we're in classrooms, film, practices, steady, trying to get their football IQ, because that will save them so much of getting a beating if they're at one step ahead of the competition. Even if the kid is physically bigger and stronger than you, you know what you're doing and you're good to film study, and you know that set, and you know that fullback's coming, you got it. You can beat that fullback. I don't care if he's 230, 6'3", 230, he's jacked, and you're 185 pound, 5'10", and you never played before. But if you know where the ball's going, you do your film study, right technique, you could take that block on. And that's what we're trying to build. But our depth, we don't have that. We don't have a kid that say, oh, man, this kid's hurt. That's what kills us. We have a kid get hurt. Another kid comes on the field. The next 9, 10 plays are going right at that kid. Mm-hmm. The other team knows, well, now they got 10 players and a kid who's never, ever played before, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's so hard because it might not even be that kid's position. He's just the next best kid up.
Well, hopefully, like this organic growth you guys are kind of banking on, works out, and you get yourself around a 500 record, over 500, and then you start attracting people without doing the recruiting, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, no coach has delusions of grandeur.
Right.
We know what we have.
Yeah.
And they're great coaches. I mean, I don't want to say nobody would win with these kids. I wouldn't want to say that. But the work we put in, we're making chicken salad out of chicken shit. We are. And
well, good coaching goes a long way at the high school level, for sure.
It's easier than down in the Hawks. Even though those kids don't know the game of football, you got 2 years with those kids, and then they're moving on. At least here, we got 4 years. Mm-hmm. That freshman class, in 4 years, they're all going to be ready. I'm going to say the year after next, we're if we don't lose any kids, because we have lost good players. They just went on to greener pastures. And the parents, you only have a 4-year window to show somebody something on film. These kids want to go and play the next level. I'm not saying we had D1 talent and they all left us. But the real talented kids got a taste of that losing and knew they could win where either their hometown, their program at home that they're leaving to come here, which it is a battle. It's hard, but I always wanted to coach high school. I grew up, down into Hawks, coaching the Pee-wees at first. I got to coach with Bobby Federico up at varsity. Loved the difference. The 7th and 8th graders, they got their shit together. Tell them it's one time. They've been in the program for 5-6 years. They get it. And you're just rolling. That program has built a lot of good football players. So,
well, that's back to my point about coaching. Like, they all coach the same thing in Hawks. Like, when you're in taxi, you learn the basics of what they end up teaching you in varsity.
Yeah.
So for, 6 or 7 years, you're learning the same exact thing, just different derivatives of the same base offense and defense.
Yep.
So by the time you get up there, I mean, you could almost do anything with them.
Yep.
As long as it falls within the playbook of the wing T or whatever they're running.
Yep.
You could throw everything at them, and they just have such a good concept of what they're doing that it's fine. It's numbers, it's holes, they get it. And
to make adjustments, it's so easy.
Right.
Because those kids know it like the back of their hand. And even if we put a little flare on something, on a power or a down, with those kids back in the Hawks.
Right. Yeah.
Run it 2 times, they got it.
Yeah. And it's ingrained. They just know it.
Yep.
Done.
Hey,
I mean, I know plays from Hawks still.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking,
Yeah.
how long ago was that? 25 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. That's cool, man. You guys that's awesome. I want St. Joe to build themselves back up to a point where Hamilton doesn't have to feel bad about playing them. And then we can have the Hamilton St. Joe game again. And I'll be happy. One day a year.
The town needs it.
They do. It's fun. That was fun. I can't believe they took that away from Hamilton, that game. Terrible. But you have two athletic directors now in St. Joe and in Hamilton that are down for it. They just need to get somewhere in the same stratosphere.
Yeah, it's hard because of the playoffs. You know, football season's wrapped up by Thanksgiving. And you don't really want to make it after everybody's done. Back when we played, you know, we had another playoff game after the Thanksgiving game and probably the state championship after that. So that's where the water started getting murky. You know, next thing you know, your Thanksgiving game and you just lost your second best player got hurt on the Thanksgiving
Yeah, but we
game.
never thought about that then.
No, the kids never did.
Even the coaches did that.
No,
I mean,
the coaches
that's all we
did.
cared about was that St. Joe game.
We cared about it, but it's a game that only reflected your record. It didn't change your playoff status. It didn't do anything.
But it was awesome.
Oh, it was the best.
I mean, it's all. I mean, how many times do you get to play in front of that many people at that age?
The best case scenario for Hamilton St. Joe, it can't be pivotal at all during playoff time. It can't mean anything for playoff. It's either got to be after the season is done. St. Joe wins their parochial or
Just
whatever.
a huge fundraiser for both schools. Yeah.
Last event. Because sometimes that's the last time a kid's going to wear a football helmet. Mm-hmm. He knows it. So if it's the last game of the year, they don't have a playoff game the following week. They don't
Yeah.
Nothing left. They could leave it all out there.
Yeah.
They're not saying, "Oh my God, I got a playoff game."
Well, in some circumstances, you're talking like 5 weeks after the season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you might get like St. Joe or Hamilton doesn't make the playoffs, and then
This would have been the best year.
and then it would have been a month and a half later. Then we play our game. So you got like one school just gearing up for it for like 5-6 weeks. The other one's just dragging themselves through the mud trying to get into the state championship.
It would have to be, like I said, if it's at Thanksgiving time, that's a lot of rest for the kids because
Thanksgiving,
it is the best time to have it. It is. It would bring back
Thanksgiving Day too.
It would be
Thursday,
such
a
flame.
Yeah.
I mean, huge.
Yeah.
But they're talking like week 0, that first game of the season, and that's great too.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Any time is great. I just want it to come back. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was the last game I got to ever play. You know,
Me too.
Walking off that field.
Me too.
You know, it was a long walk.
Yeah.
For me.
We lost too. It was a hell of a game though. I got knocked out cold.
It was a great game. It was always no matter what the score. I mean, I don't care what the records were of the schools. You know, when they were a powerhouse, even when Hamilton was a powerhouse. It didn't matter.
No.
It didn't. Hamilton could have had 2 wins. St. Joe could have had 1 win. It would have been one of the best games you watched because every down, everybody was at 100.
Man, I remember my sophomore year, the first time I ever played in that game, and it was like the pace of that game was so much faster. It was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
It was so cool.
Best thing was when I was a sophomore, my brother was a senior at St. Joe. And I was at Hamilton.
That's cool, man. That's the part of it from back in the day that was really cool. Is you had brothers playing against each other on Thanksgiving, and then going and sitting and having Thanksgiving dinner at the same table.
I had best friends at St. Joe.
Yeah. That's all. That's how it was.
I grew up with Johnny Pinto. You know, I knew Richie Rosa forever. You know, that was their senior year. My senior year were all the same. You know, Steve Picucci. Still, see him almost every day. As soon as that game got done, me and Steve Picucci were the first ones. We embraced each other, you know.
Yeah. Awesome tradition. Awesome game. Hope it comes back.
Yeah, me too.
You're fighting the good fight, dude.
Yeah, trying.
Let's talk about some fucking blueberries.
Right on.
So you guys sold Atlantic Blueberry, which was the big. Was that the biggest blueberry farm in Hamilton?
It was the largest in the world in the 70s and early 80s.
Sold the biggest blueberry farm in the world.
Yeah, we got out acreaged. We might have held on to that till almost my senior year, maybe 88. But then it was getting, growing regions were starting to pop up. You know, you had Oregon, Washington, California, Texas, Indiana, everywhere. Georgia's huge now. Michigan got real big. So farms started getting just bigger and bigger. And when you were our size, it's hard to take care of. You started getting acreage that started suffering because we were getting spread too thin, and I never wanted to downsize the farm. Nobody ever wants to downsize acreage. Financially, you're sitting there, you want X amount of crates coming out a year. You need, say, 700,000 crates runs your program. Everything over that is the gravy.
Yeah.
So you don't want to pull 10 acres out. You don't want to, you want to get to 2 million crates if you're at 700,000, So, I mean, it's great. I love doing it. I was born to do it, grandfather, father, now I got my son there, but he's never going to own it. That's gone for him. He works like a beast. He's got it. I talked to my old man. I asked him, was I that at 22? He goes, now times are different. He'll never be you at 22. But for today's 22, he's knocking it out of the park. So don't be so hard on him. But my old man was a slave driver. I couldn't do it every day at the time clock. What you do for Atlantic Blueberry Company today? On me. I had to be the first one there, last one to leave. I'd sleep in my truck. I'd be on a ground rig at 2 o'clock in the morning and run the freezing plant, and we'd stop at midnight and take us an hour to clean up. So I'd get done at 1 o'clock in the morning, sleep in my Toyota for an hour, dun, 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 knock on the window, get back on the ground rig. My old man, go. But it's the best, since it's the only life I've lived. But farming, best thing in the world. It's the best. I can't see myself doing it. And I can do a lot of things, weld, work on the lathe, Bridgeport, drill press, make things, and I love welding too, but if I had to weld every single day of my life, I'd be tired of it. Farming, there's so many things. It's so, what's a great word for it? It's the same schedule, and everything, growing season, everything comes around. You got your herbicides, you got your fertilizers, you got your frost protection, you got your bees coming in, it's all routine, but you're not doing the same thing every day. It's almost like every day is a new day at work, except for like harvest. I'm picking blueberries today, I'm picking blueberries tomorrow, I'm picking blueberries the next day. When you're in that, it's the same thing every day. But like prepping a field, you're getting a field ready to be planted, or you're ripping an old field out. You're going around, you're cleaning canals for your waterways to be fresh. You're updating your sprayer. You're updating the system, the GPS system, the spray system. You're downloading that. You're learning the new. It's every day. It's something different. It's great. It's not monotonous. And when you love it, you don't need an alarm clock. You're 4 o'clock, man. Your eyes are open. Your wife's like, "What do you?"
Do you really not set an alarm clock?
No, I've never lived with an alarm clock.
Really?
Ever.
You trust that?
Yeah. Back in the day, when I was a hellraiser, I'd be walking in, finishing my last beer, and my old man be tying his boots. And be like, "Get in your work clothes." I'd be like, "Oh," taking a ride, and he'd cracking me. "You smell like a brewery." But I was in my 20s. 21, 22. I was a hellraiser. But I never missed a day of work. Never. Couldn't think about it. Never.
So why'd you guys sell? You sold in 2022, but
the New Jersey market's the hardest market to make money in blues. Profit margins are shrinking. Everything's getting more expensive, and the product, it's the farming industry as a whole, everybody, corn, everybody. There's no set price. You can work all winter long, and you can hope. Blueberries bring $20, but if they bring 14, you lost $6 off your profit margin. And it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Problem is, in everything, when you first start out, like in your 20s, bro, you can work 24/7, nonstop, being a hammer. Never quit. Never get tired. You know, even if you're dragging, you could perform. That's when you should make the big money. Then as you get older, your wisdom is what gets you paid. Your experience, but not your work output. Because ain't no way I'm keeping up my 22-year-old son. There ain't no way. I'll put on a good show, but let me tell you, Bengay, Advil, Aleve, bro, working with him, but I can't show him. You know, I'm 55. I can't show him. I can't let him know I'm 55 by the grunts and the groans and the soreness and the, you know. So I got to stay right alongside him. I got to dig when he's digging. You know, I got to shovel as fast as he's shoveling. When I'm my age, I know the wisdom is the payment, but my salary should be lower. My physical output isn't the same. I made more money for the farm in my teens and 20s than I have work-wise, labor and strength. I can't even hold a candle to what I used to be. And I'm good with that. You know, I'm not a guy who's sitting there, you know. But to make money, it's almost like that next generation, that 22-year-old kid coming in. You got to give him the world and show him that paycheck and that income to spark him to want to make the farm unbelievable every single day. Then as he gets older, he's financially set. You know, if he's smart with his money, that's another thing. Biggest thing you got to do is sit down with your kids and teach them about money. Because if they don't have respect for it, I don't care how much you make. They'll burn right through it. Get them the value of $1. He'll work like a banshee, even though he's well paid, and you're like, oh my God, you can't give a 22-year-old that kind of money. You got to give him that kind of money. Because when's he going to buy a house? When are any of these kids going to buy a house? If they ain't got a trust, if they ain't hit the lottery, these kids are busting their ass. The kids that do bust their ass, they got to get financially set. And you work like a banshee from, if you start at 18 right out of high school to 35, that's where you got to be at your peak. Then when you know, your family's already set, you know, you got your kids, no, listen, I'm not telling everybody to go run out and have kids. You can have them later in life. But you got to financially set yourself in that window. And the farming industry should change. Make that money then. And then start cutting back on what you're paying yourself. So then that next generation coming in, no matter what that fruit is doing, you've made your money. The older guys are making less. The younger guys are making a load. So when the next generation comes in, they make the load and you're tailing off. You know, you got to give them kids incentive. There's not a kid that comes onto a working atmosphere and the first words out of their mouth is, what am I going to make? They want to know. And it's not a bad way to be. They're going to play the field, man. They're going to run over here, run over there, and they're going to run to the highest pay. They're going to put more, they're going to work more because they feel justified. This guy's paying me, so I'm going to work. If you're trying to create a profit margin and pinch those kind of guys, The younger guys, oh, he doesn't have any experience. Work with them. Work side by side with a 22-year-old. And when you're my age, and tell me how long you lasted. You put in a good 4 days, but that Friday, you're mush.
Yeah.
You're begging your son, I think I got to go in the office and do paperwork, bro. Because I'm spent, you know? So, I mean, if the farming industry as a whole, like I said, it's the best life. I don't have another life to compare it to because that's all I've ever done. But blueberry farming in New Jersey, minimum wage being as high as it is, even though the farmers have a little bit of a break, it's not the $15, $16. It just went up again January 1st.
Is that what's cutting into the profit so much? Is the labor cost?
Yeah, because you have more money in each unit. Say you have 1,000 employees. So if you're putting out 10,000 crates a day, easy math, and all those employees are making $1 more, that's 10 cents less a crate you're making because everybody's making $1 more. Now that's for every hour. 10-hour days, $1.
Is it so it's New Jersey is the problem?
No, listen, New Jersey's got the best fruit on the market. Peru's bringing some stuff in that's got a lot of snap in it. Some flavor is there. But you're not beating, it's the Garden State, bro.
Everything is better.
It's better.
I don't know if it's just because it's here or like.
You go anywhere in the world, bite into a tomato. Let somebody throw you a Jersey tomato and you bite that sucker.
Yeah.
You ain't getting a better.
It's more red, for sure.
You're not getting better. You're not getting better produce from anywhere. I don't care. Everyone else is inferior to the Garden State. All right. But you got Florida coming in early. Then Georgia comes in. You got some South Carolina. Then you got North Carolina. Then Jersey comes in. So all this fruit has been on the market, and it starts out real high. But then the shelves has had blueberries on it for now months. Mm-hmm. We're coming in, and New Jersey, there ain't no state that puts as much fresh on the market as we do. We got the town's full of great blueberry farmers. There isn't a shitty blueberry farmer in the state. So everybody's got top-notch fruit. The weather does do some events. Weather events do, hurt the fruit sometimes. But for the most part, when the blueberry fruit's in, it's the best blueberries you're going to get. But that shelf life, the shelf space, you're putting out of state. Yields have been down a little bit. But you're talking 250,000 crates a day.
Is that because of the heat?
No, there's studies just in virgin woods, like even the soil, the organic matter, it's breaking down. They're doing studies, and it's the best to plant blueberries, any crop, in virgin ground. You clear ground, and man, everything's going to jump. But it just gets tired. My ground 90-some years old now. Mm-hmm. Been disking it. We're doing some soil amendments to try and bring it back. Different growing practices to help the soil.
It's a lot of chemistry, huh?
Yeah, we work along with Rutgers. They have a research center in Oswego up near all the cranberries. They do a lot of work. There's University of Georgia, University of Florida. They're all creating new varieties. It's mostly the southern blood varieties for down there, but we have other, Berry Blue, doing a lot of cultures and crossbreedings and creating new stock and new varieties and flavors and sizes.
Is that how you get the monster blueberries that we say, the gigantic blueberries?
Yeah, it's all into the genetics of the breeds that they're bringing in. Everything is visual. Anybody going into the grocery store, you see those bright red apples. It took a while for that yellow and reddish envy apple, but once you bit into one, you're like, holy smoke, this is a great apple.
I'm a Honeycrisp guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, apples are great. All fruits and vegetables are great. You know, they talk about organics and everything, which, listen, organics are great too. You know, you want to stay away from pesticides and all that, but there's such research going on. You wash your fruits and vegetables, you're good. An apple gets waxed, so you got to wash it. That wax coating holds those fungicides and everything on. Just wash your stuff.
I gotta tell you, dude, I hardly ever wash my fruit.
Just wash it.
Should definitely. I hardly ever do. I really hardly ever do.
The materials I spray with today.
Wash it.
Listen, when I came into blueberries, you're talking DDT was still labeled. You know, you just mix that in a 5-gallon bucket with our fucking hands. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Mm-hmm. Not never going to be wrong with me.
Wow.
Listen, the cereal and shit and all that crap food, these Nabisco, I don't want to really say, that crap food's going to kill you way before I could dip my blueberries in the pesticides I use and give it to you. It's safer than eating that shit.
Yeah.
You know, they say, oh, here's the organic section. Here's the fruit and produce. There was a guy on TV. If you have a health food section in your supermarket, what do you categorize all the other food as?
Yeah. Toxic.
It's all going to kill you.
Yeah.
All that shit's going to kill you.
Yeah. But how do you go, like, what would be the process for creating genetically a gigantic blueberry?
Oh, there's millions of. Here's the crazy part. You get a slamming variety of blueberries, even in another slamming variety. You crossbreed those, it makes shit. You get a mutt blueberry, they ain't never done shit. Nobody ever wanted to plant it, and you mix that with something. You know, you get even not varieties that were never named. A G145, G144, G147s. We created those. We never named them. We never put them out. We just had a little block. My Uncle Duke and my grandfather created them. They don't have shelf life. But with the products today, the calciums, we could get them firm. Bro, they're 3 blueberries. You wouldn't eat another one.
Really?
You wouldn't even go buy one. I don't care when blueberries were in, where you were at. You would never even look at a blueberry. You ate those 3. I'm telling you, those numbers are abolished now. No one, I don't know if anybody has the crosses, how my great uncle and my grandfather made those varieties. I don't even know if we have, since the sale, do we have any of that material left to where I could create that? Because it is a G number. It's a Galletta number. I'd love to duplicate it. I'd love to bring them back just for you to have one.
I would love to.
Because they were all that size.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. But
so you could crossbreed 2 little normal sized blueberries and it could create a big one?
Most of my great uncle Duke and my grandfather would tell me, you're going to try and hit it out of the park with your first try, and you're going to cross Dukes with something else, and it ain't going to amount to shit. We've been doing this our whole lives. You grab 2 mutts, 2 junk varieties, and cross them, they're going to make and that's what I would just go nuts and just try and create as many numbers as I could. And sometimes I'm duplicating numbers that they already created, you know, and they're like, no, that's not going to work. You know, they'd come to me, no.
That's fun, dude. So you take I guess a male seed and a female seed from 2 different species.
Yeah.
And then plant them. Now, would it matter? Like say you have a Duke and a something else. If you had a Duke male and the female something else, would that be different if you had a Duke female and a something else male?
There are numbers to show you that.
Okay. Are they pretty similar?
I don't know if say the male and the female cross is a 110, and then you do a male cross and a female the opposite way, if that's a 111. You know, I don't never dug into that paperwork ever to see if that made a difference. I always just went
for it.
I was young, man, and just flying around and I wanted to do, you want to do everything. You want to know every aspect. In that family business, we had, everybody did their own part. My cousin Art was in the packing house. My cousin Paul ran the Mays Landing farm. I was irrigation and mechanical harvest with my old man, nursery, heavy machinery and stuff. So there was parts of the farm, like the selling and everything, that I never got into because my great uncle Duke did it, then my cousin Art did it. So that wasn't my area. I was out in the field with my old man. But being me, I wanted to do every darn thing. I wanted to know it all. Mm-hmm. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring you anyway. God forbid something terrible happens. We need somebody to fill those shoes. Little John, Art's son, he was born when I graduated high school. So he's 18 years younger than me. He wasn't even on the farm. He had to go through high school and everything yet. And shit, that kid's off the charts, brilliant. Bro, smart. Bro, so smart. He was books.
Yeah.
I knew he was destined for greatness and something else. I mean, he could be a hell of a blueberry farmer. But with his knowledge, it'd be a great income for him, a great living. But man, he could do so many other things.
So if you're crossing a 147 with a 145, just for example,
right?
How many times would you have to plant that pear to confidently know or could you just plant it and go?
You could do one. You do one.
They just go no matter what.
And we put them in a special block, and we'd monitor it for over 10.
Over 10.
10 years.
Really?
Yeah. Production, fruit quality.
Are they annual? Are they annuals, blueberries? Like they'll come back the same, or do you have to replant?
No. They're a permanent crop. It's annual.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got blue crop in the ground. My grandfather planted 1958.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's old. Bush.
Yeah. First blue crop in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun, dude. So when you're scrolling online and you see there's pictures of, they'll be like, oh, this is what strawberries used to look like. And it's like these little dinker strawberries, and then they compare them to today's strawberries, or you see a watermelon split open with all these seeds. And then you see today's watermelon.
Yeah.
That's all just science in fruit. That's not hormones, chemicals. That's just people playing with different species to get to the most desirable fruit.
It's every farmer's dream to create something that the customer wants more than what you have right now. It's with everything. You get your phone, your iPhone. Next thing you know, it's iPhone 16 now. Yeah. Right? No, 17's out. Who knows? The charging port might be the only thing they fucking changed, but it's the iPhone 17.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it. Once you start creating that visual stimulation for the buyer, the customer, you go in there and all of a sudden, here's somebody who still has, say it's jerseys they used to be kind of big, but now they're just small crap compared to today's standards. You have a pint of Jersey sitting there, and then you got a pint of Dukes, or, they're not even going to look at that Jersey. They're not even going to grab that pint. The eye candy is in the bigger fruit, the better color, the presentation. They could taste like lemons, but they're going to buy them. After they eat them, they might be like, nah, I don't like them. They're sour. But it's all eye candy. You see the zucchini. You see them zucchini in the store sometimes. It's like out of a picture. It's just they have built up that vegetable with a strain, created a variety that maybe is bigger and still holds the flavor. Skin is darker green and looks waxed and shiny. Mm-hmm. It's all the mothers of the world the grandmothers, the people who are shopping, going to grab that zucchini over the one sitting next to it if it doesn't have that color, doesn't have that size. So it's all these growers that are trying to, this guy's got great fruit over here, but we got to get better. And that's the only reason to do anything. You can't be satisfied.
And that's how you do it is with crossbreeding your crop?
Yeah.
To get a better product?
Yeah, you find the right combinations. And there's a machine that MBG had come out with. It was doing like 2,500 crosses a day.
A machine?
Yeah.
Were they like hypothetical? Was it like a computer?
Yeah.
Was it actually planning them, or was it telling you what would happen if you did?
It was generating 2,500 a day.
Wow.
They'd put that 2,500 aside, set it in a block, watch it grow, knock 1,500 off of that to get the top 500. That 500 sat in a block, knocked it down to 250. Now they got the top 250 performers. Then they kept monitoring to break it down just to get one variety.
How do you judge the best performer? Is it by production or is it by taste?
It's it's just like a baseball player. You want that 5-tool baseball player.
Right.
That's what you're looking for. Size, color, flavor, durability, shelf life. You want the home run of home runs. So that's why they narrow it down. And they're not going to work. Maybe the plant's a slow grower that I don't care who you are. If it takes you 10 years for that plant to get to mature, you're getting kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
For 10 years of spraying it, fertilizing it, and you're not getting the fruit off of it. So all the slow growers, they take them off. Them plants that come up out of the ground quick, get the full size fast, and put out a bunch of fruit and quality fruit, that's what they're trying to find. They have a new variety. I don't know if it's a yielder yet. I've had it on the farm for a couple of years now. Beautiful fruit. I mean, beautiful. Don't know if it's a yielder yet because they're young. But if they grow, that's probably going to replace Dukes for the people that are...
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit earlier than Duke and the shelf life on it and the flavor, which I never want to see Duke come to an end. That's named after my uncle.
Yeah.
You don't want to see that. But it's just like any type of record in a sport or anything. They're made to be broken, so if Duke stays, we're not doing anything.
Is Duke a global blueberry or specific to Atlantic blueberry?
No. It was named by the state.
Okay.
We had it. We had a state test block and we had our own test block. And my Uncle Duke said it on a joke. We got blueberry and Galletta put together. Mm-hmm. Weymouth for Weymouth Road, where the farm was. Varieties named after us. But this plant was just performing.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Duke told the guys from the state, you better keep your eye on this one. This one's going to be good. He just saw it. How many crosses he could have done, I have no idea. Probably 1 million more than I ever did. They started paying attention to it. Yield data, how firm it was, the size. I mean, it was. When it was grown, man, it was just magnificent. That was created at the farm. So they go and they name it. And they name it Duke. And my grandfather, my Uncle Duke had said to the state, my Uncle Duke was joking around saying, if you're going to ever name that, you can slap Duke. You can slap Duke for the name on that.
Yeah.
When they named it, I thought he was going to pass out. I thought he was going to fall over. Number one, it was such an honor, And listen, that guy worked. They all worked. I can't say, like, what they created for me to be successful, there's no way to repay that. So that variety being named, I wish there was a variety named after my grandfather. I really do. And that, honestly, I jumped in because I wanted to name one after my grandfather. I wanted to find something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it just never happened. It hasn't happened yet. I just hope one day, you know, something comes out. Hopefully I'm a part of it. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm not an owner. You know, I work for this new group as if it was still my own because my heart's in it. So it's all I know, you know, and I love doing it every day.
Do you just basically run the whole show? Like,
My cousin's Paul's still with me.
do they put restrictions on you? I mean, like,
Oh, it's all corporate decisions. You know,
Okay.
everything is in Zooms. Not. It's still got, it's their place. So some of my suggestions fall on deaf ears, but it's their place. You know, I'm not going to get upset about it. What am I going to do? Well, I said to do that. You know,
yeah.
it's their place. You know, they're paying the bills. I'm not paying the bills anymore. You know, I'm just trying to.
Does that relieve some stress? Is it better in a way?
It's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
For the headaches I lost and the worry,
You lose some pride, I imagine.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
The worst part is I love, bro, working next to your son. Now I know what my father was feeling every day for 40 years. For him not to get a piece of it, it kills me every day. I mean, sleepless. You know, I got the blackberry farm I started, me and my wife. She's crazy too, like me. So he's a blueberry guy. My son is. He's a grower. You know,
Well, what's stopping him from starting his own farm?
just the financial burden of this area.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big risk.
Well, look at like is it a big risk?
It will take a long time.
It takes a long time to start bringing in some money.
Yeah. You know, you're looking at, if you don't buy an existing farm, what you're going to pay 7 times the amount for
Really?
for an existing farm.
7 times the amount of,
Yeah.
of what yearly yield?
To your cost.
Oh, okay.
So if you start out, say you're thinking of planting X amount of acres and you're looking at, it's going to cost me $1 million to get into this. To go and buy that farm, it's going to cost you $7 million because it's already up and running. So it's going to start bringing you income. It's set like that because you don't have the 7 years until the bushes are mature.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually you multiply whatever you could do it for out of the gates. A farm of that size is going to cost you 7 times more than what you could do it for to start. But then, you know, you're going to have 6 years of getting kicked.
Is that
in
just
the
this area, or is that
No,
everywhere?
it's kind of everywhere. The land varies in every state. But, you know, you got irrigation, you got to buy, you know, you're buying your tractors, you need a cooler, you need packing lines, you know, you're starting out, you know.
You gotta find the guys. You gotta,
Yeah,
it's a big undertaking.
Lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. If a perfect scenario for my son is to walk in somewhere, a 100-acre farm that is winding down, nobody's coming in, guy wants to retire, you know, and he gives my son a home run deal of not a handshake, but X amount of dollars up front and get me Y amount for the next 5 years and then Z amount for the next 5. So he's paid off gradually, you know, but who's got 10 years if they're getting out of it,
Yeah.
you know? If it's
You
an
looking?
Huh?
You guys looking?
I have a non-compete. I
Okay.
can't touch.
Is he looking?
It's just for a 22-year-old. I don't want to put. I don't want to handcuff him. I always want him to always feel free. That he can do it. I always put in, hey, where'd Grandpa, Uncle Duke, Uncle Anthony, Uncle Ernie, and Uncle Al start? From the bottom. So it can be done. numbers are a lot different from then. You know, there was bartering. You know, my grandfather had Plymouth Rocks, chickens. So there was, you know, I'll get you eggs. You know, guy, 2 acres of blueberries, Bill. If you want to mess with that, go ahead. You know, there was always opportunities, and I don't want to say opportunities aren't there for today for our youth, but it just always comes with such a hefty price.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'd be hard. And I don't want to jeopardize myself because everyone involved in the sale, the new buyers, I don't want them coming at me saying there's no way your kid could have done that without your help and you have a non-compete. I don't want it to ever get ugly.
Yeah. Well, how long was your non-compete for?
I got 2 years from contract end. So I have 2.5, 3 years left on my contract, which the owner flat out looked across at me and was
Your
like,
contract to be the farm manager?
yeah, I'm done.
Oh, so after you're done being a farm manager for 2 years, then you could pursue your own.
Yeah, then I could jump back on blues.
Okay.
Which will put me at 60, I think.
Still got it?
Yeah.
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 Fuck.
Yeah, I want to live to 110.
You might, dude.
No.
I was talking to Michelle the other day, and I'm pretty sure I eat more fruit than maybe anyone in maybe New Jersey.
That's good.
I eat a ton of fruit. How is the fruit so good right now?
Have 100,000 more kids.
Yeah?
Yeah, I need another 100,000 people eating more fruit than anybody else in New Jersey.
I'll tell you what, dude. My daughter, Giada, man, she'll sit down at that table with me, and we'll just go through like pints.
Yeah.
Just blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. We'll just sit there for an hour.
You make sure you call me. I'll get you some blackberry. I got some slamming varieties. Yeah, dude.
They love. My son even loves the blackberries.
Yeah.
He's tough.
Yeah.
But he likes the blackberries too. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I got some slammers.
All right, so you got a story about me. You want to share it?
Okay.
Anyone watching, get it over with. Let's get it.
Yeah. On past episodes here, podcasts, you know, the penis was coming up quite a bit. And Flounder had made the comment, man, you bring up penis a lot. So, I mean, that started for you way back.
Yeah.
So it was 91. It was 91. So you were 4.5, 5 years old. I killed a monster. Whitetail with the bow. So I had to run to your house and show your dad. Now I think I saw you with him a little bit. You were maybe still in diapers, but I didn't see you frequently. So I got this rack on the back of my truck, and it's me and your dad, and I think it was my brother, looking at this thing, and your dad's like, damn, that's a nice fucking deer, you know. And here you come down the stone driveway. I'm like, hey, Steven, what are you doing? Nothing, did you kill a deer? I'm like, yeah, come take a look at it, right? And you're looking at it, and it sounded like water running. And I turn, and I look at you, and you're pissing right there, right behind my foot on the driveway. And I'm like, oh, you're pissing. And you looked right up at me and says, do you like my penis? Well, I couldn't even see it because I was crying so much. Me and your father were rolling. Like the last thing I thought you were going to say to me was, do you like my penis? And I was just taken back quite a bit. I was like, this little guy's cool. This little guy's cool. He's definitely a chip off his old block.
Right on, dude.
Yeah. All right, shit. I got stories of Flounder too, man.
Oh, yeah. Give us a Flounder story.
Yeah, Flounder. So I went to school with Anthony, his brother. Grew up with Anthony. Hunted with Anthony all the time. So the thing with Ross Restuccio and Anthony is they both had a little brother 10 years younger than them. Now, you never... Only when you're like 18 and Flounder's 8, or little Frankie is 8, then you see the difference But once you grow up and they're teenagers and we're all looking at each other eye to eye, you know, he's not a little kid anymore, but you forget he's 10 years younger than you. So it's 1998. So Flounder's 45?
Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, he's 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
So he's 45. So 1998, he was 18. So I'm having a 1-year-old birthday party for my firstborn, Brianna. And I'm at the house at First Road. And he lived right down the street on 13th. And I see him, you go hunting and everything like that, and always see him. And he comes over, and we're cooking a pig early in the morning for the party. Got a big pig on the rotisserie. Me and my brother are out there early in the morning and cracking a couple beers. A couple beers turned into a lot of beers. Not thinking Flounder's 18. Flounder's cracking them right with us, which, 3 or 4, you're sitting there, you're not counting Flounder's beers.
He's 18. I mean.
So he's hanging.
Yeah.
And I mean, back then, me and my brother could put some shit down. So he's right alongside. I mean, by the end of the night, I got Flounder running in my backyard. I had a table with watermelons. I was cutting watermelons and everything like that. He's running with watermelons on, and like diving into my lawn like it's the deep end of a swimming pool and blasting these watermelons. And it's like, what the fuck is he doing? And you go to the table, grab another one. Run and jump, like jackknifing in the air and head, straight down. And I'm like, this fucking kid's going to break his fucking neck in my yard. I'm like, what's up? Oh, man, get me that watermelon, bro. Out of his mind. It's funny as shit. Flounder, forever, some of the funniest shit, Flounder was there. He witnessed more of the funniest shit that's happened in my life. I guess I was about 34. So he's 24 years old, and him and my brother, man, they fish together, hanging out a lot. So my brother was pretty good at tying one on at West End. So I get a phone call from West End. Billy, you got to get your brother out of here, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll be right there. So I go there, and like the bartender, like breaks out this bottle of Crown that's empty. Says, he drank this, and then he breaks out another one, and this one, and he's halfway through this one, right? And when I walk in, my brother's he's throwing a sandwich, like Dan Marino throwing to Mark Duper in the end zone. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? He's gone. And all of a sudden, I'd be over his shoulder. Who do I see? It's Flounder. So Flounder comes running up to me, bro, I got him. Don't worry about it. I said, make sure he don't fucking drive. He's like, bro, I got him. Right? Right? So I'm like, he's with Flounder. He's cool. He's good. So I go back to the bartender. I'm like, you're the idiot that let him get 2.5 bottles in him. It's your responsibility to sometimes, you can always call me. And thank you for letting my brother have a great time. We've had a lot of great times in there. I'll tell you another story. This is a great one. So we get, I leave. I think my son is 4 years old, maybe 3, maybe 4 or 5. I get him back home, get him back on I think it was Xbox he was big into, and I would crush him in college football.
How old was he?
5, maybe. He he played taxi when he was 5. And the football hooks dug into him And when I brought him there, I didn't expect anything. I'm coaching the Pee-wees. He's going to be with me anyway. I put him in a helmet, shoulder pads, and I told the coach, I said, I don't care if he sits along the fence all night. He's too young, really. You got to start at 6. Just as long as he gets used to wearing a helmet. You know, if he don't like it, he don't like it. But I think he's going to like it. 2 weeks. The coach comes back to me. He says, yo, Billy's going to be our starting running back. I said, you can't. He's 5. You can't start him at running back. He's 5 years old. They're like, okay. We're going to go to another team and say, hey, our running back is 5. They're going to say, no, don't start your 5-year-old. I'm like, all right. You think he's good enough? Yeah. First carry, 80 yards, touchdown, untouched, gone, little bugger. But,
that's awesome.
So I come out of West End with Billy, get on the Xbox. Yeah, my phone rings, and it's Flounder. Yo, dude, I'm sorry, man. He got his keys from me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go find him. And after I find him, I'm coming back to West End. And then I'm going to find you. Because you said you had this. So I call my brother, and he was good. But I never go back to West End. But Flounder was just like, fuck, now Billy Galletta's going to fucking... He cut, yo, dude, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't just me, you know. But I love Flounder, man. I love, you guys, you know, this town is, you know, it's got its... Every hometown's got its downfalls, and sometimes you want to get out of the hometown. But for the most part, Hamilton's a great fucking town, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The characters, just all the different people, great, funny. We were in West End, me and my brother. It was a rain day, I think, at the farm. So we're tying one on. I mean tying one on. And the door opens up. Now, I don't really take notice, but my brother does. My brother goes, yo, that's Captain Lou Albano from wrestling, from back in the day.
Okay.
And I look across, I'm like, that ain't fucking Captain Lou Albano, bro. And he goes, I'm Captain Lou Albano in the flesh, right? Who are you? Well, somebody yells out, yo, they're the Blues Brothers. They're the original fucking Blues Brothers. They're a tag team, right? He's like, you're a tag team? I said, yeah, you want to see a fucking headbutt? I turn and I grab my brother's head. I blast him off the chair, down on the ground he goes. And he goes, oh my God, that looked really good. I'm like, you know why? Because it was fucking real, bro. I just smashed my brother's head in with a real headbutt. Yeah, the whole place was roaring. That's the kind of shit. But
Dude,
that was,
West End gets some cool visitors, man.
yeah.
I saw Darren Dalton there.
Yeah.
I think I saw Chris Terry in there. Like, there's some cool people.
Flacco was in there.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco
yeah,
was in there.
he was in there.
Yeah.
There's some cool people go to
Yeah.
West End.
It's a great town.
Everyone's got a great West End story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got carried out of there by a couple of Hamilton's finest couple times.
I went there a couple times when I coached Hawks, but I haven't been there
Yeah, I haven't been there.
in the longest time.
We eat from there stuff. Their food is fantastic.
Yeah, their food is definitely good.
I'll go pick up food. I'll get there early so I can have a beer or something. But that's all I got. All right, dude. Thanks for coming.
Man, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
That was fun, dude. That's really interesting. I can't believe how scientific the farming is. I never thought of that aspect of it. Competing with the the crossbreeds and stuff. That's really cool.
I mean, as a whole, it's getting just so much more integrated. It's just like every business. It's transforming, or you won't survive.
Yeah.
Any business. If you don't go with the times and you don't make those changes and you don't change with the flow of things, you're in the back seat of the bus, bro. And it's just getting longer and longer, and you ain't gonna make it. You got to be with up front, spend the extra money, because everything you put into it, you're going to get out of. I mean, but farming blueberries in Jersey it does have its challenges.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, man, thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Till next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Peace.